I often point out the numerical or geographical inaccuracies of the different conference names. So I'd just like to say, well done Southland, you freaking nailed it. Not only is it solely based in the south, but most if not all of the stadiums are located on land. With that being said, here are the Southland Conference football stadiums. Cowboy Stadium, McNeese Cowboys. It gets the nickname The Hole, which despite sounding like an insult seems to be a fairly common nickname for a stadium in college football, in particular stadiums that are sunken into the ground for obvious reasons. Another feature that this stadium has that seems to be fairly common is the cannon that fires after every score. But it does have some less common features, such as this small section, which is for the band if I'm not mistaken, and adjacent to that is the Cowboy Club building. To be honest, I couldn't find out exactly what goes on in there, but I imagine there are some Clint Eastwood impressions involved. And it looks kinda cool, as does the stadium as a whole, no pun intended. Harry Turpin Stadium, Northwestern State Demons. Just a little bit smaller than the last one, but equally interesting. The Western Grandstand features the all concrete exterior that was quite common in the era that it was built, but it's livened up with some splashes of colour. On the inside it's quite imposing and has a bit of an unusual look to it. The upper deck is noticeably wider than the lower one. Speaking of which, has quite a few chairback seats, which once again add a bit of a splash of colour. The eastern stand is quite basic and monochromatic by comparison. It does look quite steep though, I don't know if it actually is. Husky Stadium, Houston Baptist Huskies. There are quite a few Husky stadiums. This one might be the most simplistic. It has just the one basic grandstand, and on the other side there's a building. You might just assume that it's like a weight room or something like that, but no, it's a pharmacy. CVS Pharmacy is the name of it. Yeah, there's not a whole lot to say about this place, but at least it doesn't have a track around the field as many smaller college stadiums do. John L. Guidry Stadium, Nichols Colonels. From the parking lot, I'm getting drive-in theatre vibes. Not just the parking itself, but the grandstand does have a bit of a retro look to it. Although that's an elevator right there. And they only came out, what, like 15 years ago? At least in Australia they did, not sure about the US. The field here is actually named after the Manning family. Yes, the one you're thinking of. That's because they have an academy that uses the facility every year. And I can see why they chose it. It's a well put together stadium. It's fairly symmetrical and the area beyond each end zone is surrounded by a row of hedges, giving it a nice neat and tidy look. Strawberry Stadium, Southeastern Louisiana Lions. Bit of a missed opportunity not calling it Strawberry Field, but then again it does predate the Beatles. Also, the Beatles didn't use the banjo, so I'm not sure they ever topped the charts in Louisiana. Anyway, the stadium is unique in this conference in that the stands feature an all-brick facade. Indicative of its age, it is the oldest in the conference, but they're not afraid to adopt new technology. Something I found fascinating is that the new age synthetic turf here is so much like real natural grass that it has actually grown over the running track, and rightly so. What else to say? Oh, there's some nice hedge action once again. Oh, and rarely do you see a stadium of this size with an attached parking garage. Perhaps it's for the entire campus, not sure. Gail and Tom Benson Stadium, University of the Incarnate Word Cardinals. You've gotta love a 6-worded team name. As for the stadium name, it's not to be confused with Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. In case you're wondering, the late Tom Benson was the owner of the New Orleans Saints, and was a big supporter of this school and many other organizations. It's... hang on a second, where are the end zones? I can't see them. I wonder if that joke will ever die out. Other than the end zones, it's a fairly straightforward stadium. Well, actually, this stand is a little odd, I suppose, but other than that, it's fairly straightforward. And those were the stadiums of the Southland Conference. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, have a good one.